All right, so you come in to ninth grade, Kenwood Academy, man. What was you thinking?
Uh, at the time, like in high school, like first off, like my middle school, which was Woodlawn UCW, they had like a high school too, and I didn't want to go, and I didn't want to go to Kenwood at first because I had friends in middle school, and then like in high school, it was like all my friends gonna be here, so why I gotta leave? And then my mom talking about it's a one, it was a two plus school at the time, and then my mom talking about Kenwood was a 1+ school, so she didn't put me there because like she wanted what's best for me, as a caring mother should. They always want the best for their child. So I went over there. I ain't like it at first, but at the same time, I grew out of that shit, and then I ended up like start communicating with other people, making more friends and shit. And then like I'm just being like this with a few people. I mean, there were some people that didn't like me and shit, but that was just little shit.
Your mom actually knew the ratings of the school. Like I don't know the ratings of the school. Which one? Best?
I didn't even think schools had ratings at the time until she found out about that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is a rating? Then she told me that this means this how good a school is. I'm like, damn, so you saying the high school that I wanted to go to was bad? She like, yes, you ain't going there, you going here. On top of that, you smart. Like I forgot what it was, but there was like this test in 7th grade that's supposed to be the most important test that in terms of high school you go to. I'm in that bitch acing that motherfucker, and then they talking about you going to this school. I'm like, why you go there? And then she like, you passed this test that's the most important test of your life. You talking about you want to be at a not so good school? What the fuck? Get your ass over here, boy. Yeah, that's what that was about.
It's a good school, right?
It's a great school. And I heard like it was a celebrity that went there. I think R. Kelly went to that school too or some shit like that. And so it's like celebrities going to that motherfucker. And like my dad went to that school too. So it's like, damn, so it's like it's a good school then.
Because you're from Chicago, I want to ask you this. Because people that's watching this video, they only getting the view from us. How heavy was the gang activity at a good school in Chicago?
Would you believe it if I told you it was all type of sets in that motherfucker?
Explain it.
Like, it was some niggas in that motherfucker that was GD and shit. It was some motherfuckers in that bitch that was BD. It was some nigga that was stoned, and one or two, three people that was folks. I'm like, we had a whole. My mama talking about this a 1+ school, and these motherfuckers acting like they had a 3- school. They gang banging in this motherfucker. I was surprised. I didn't even think that was a such thing in this school, because I'm thinking like, and on top of that, like nobody was able to bring guns to school, because this building had like a metal detector in that bitch, like so they was able to see what was in your book bag and see what was on you at the same time. So motherfuckers couldn't bring no knives or no guns or none of that shit in school. So it's like if they got this metal detector, they know, and they got cameras in that bitch too. So like they see what's going on. So it's like, how these motherfuckers gang bang? I was confused at the time, but it's like it is what it is. What the fuck can I do about it?
Was it ever like fake gang banging you felt, or was it real gang banging in Kenwood?
It was definitely. Nah, I was about to say something. I was about to say some catch shit. It's some motherfuckers that was fake gang banging, and there was some motherfuckers that was actually, out here and shit. Like it's some niggas that's from, there's some niggas that's from 51st and Drexel. That's 051. It's the new generation going in that motherfucker. And they in that bitch talking about they from YMN. I'm like, YMN. They talking about 051. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know they had like a next generation. It's like it was some motherfuckers that was really about it, some motherfuckers that weren't about it.
Let me ask you this, because people want to know on the internet.
Go ahead.
Did you have to pick a side in Chicago? Like, I'm gonna hang with these guys, or I'm gonna hang with these guys?
The only time you have to pick a side is if you're not man enough to say you can't tell me what to do. I'm grown as hell, just like, and I'm around your age, or like basically you gotta be man enough to tell these motherfuckers you can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna hang with who I want to hang with, but I'm not gonna cause no problems or none of that shit. That's the type of nigga that I am like as of nowadays. Like at the time, like I was always hanging with certain motherfuckers because like they ain't like, and I was hanging with these motherfuckers, but they ain't like each other. So it's like, I'm gonna fuck with these motherfuckers because you motherfuckers out here on that bullshit with me, and they ain't on bullshit with me because they got what they going on with you. They ain't taking that up to me. You taking it up to me. So I'm hanging with these motherfuckers more. Fuck you talking about? Like if you man enough to tell these motherfuckers you can't tell me what to do, I'ma hang with who I want to hang with, but I'm not gonna cause problems. They gonna respect you for that, and you ain't gonna have to pick a side. But if you want these bitch ass niggas that just letting another motherfucker control you, cause like he tougher than you, he know how to fight better than you, or he got more bodies than you, allegedly, and or anything like that, then you don't gotta you gotta pick a side. But I'm one of the motherfuckers you can't tell you gotta pick a side. I'm a man at the end of the day, folks. So I stand on that. So
what's the craziest thing you ever seen in high school, man, in Kenwood?
It wasn't nothing too crazy, but like I done seen motherfuckers that like got into a fight in the lunchroom and shit, and then that shit ended up going viral on the internet, and other schools finding out about that shit. Like nigga got it, like his jaw broken and shit, and then like he come up with a chin all on shit, and then this motherfucker making memes about him, basically trying to cyberbully his ass, and then his ass transferred after that shit.
That is a crazy story right there.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. So I mean, I ain't got nothing against him. Shout out to him, but man, you should have known how to fight, folks. If you was gonna be doing all that shit that you was planning on doing. Truth be told, I wasn't really looking up to motherfuckers, cause it was nobody that was just like I just wanted to be like because he was like this right motherfucker to look up to. Like motherfucker, I wasn't really looking up to motherfuckers. I was angry with motherfuckers, but I wasn't.
What about your dad? What about your dad?
Oh, my dad. He cool in it. He cool in everything. Like he definitely is a man of the house. He a provider. He a real life provider. He take care of his family and everything, man. I mean, but like I ain't look up to him because I ain't know that as a child that they supposedly look up to their dads. Like I ain't feel that way. I'm a nonchalant motherfucker in certain areas. So it's like I wasn't looking up to motherfuckers, but at the same time I had a lot of respect for you type shit.
You had differences with your father because you wanted to be rebellious. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, because like I was like, how do I say this? Because like as a little kid, like I'm pretty sure everybody went through this shit too. Like as a little kid, like you wasn't trying to have motherfuckers tell you what to do. You wasn't trying to have motherfuckers like say, do this, and then you just want to be like, why I gotta do that? Because I said so. Man, you can't tell me that. And then like that's like it was a time like I had to get whoopings. Like growing up, I had whoopings. Like nowadays, these new kids that's growing up and shit, they don't be getting their ass whooping shit with a belt or anything like that. They be spoiled and acting bad, all type of shit. But like me, I was getting my ass whooped from time to time, folks. And like when I got my ass whooped, I learned it and I knew better. Like don't do this or it's gonna be consequences behind it. Sometimes I got punishments too. Like I wasn't always getting my ass abused like by my parents. Like not that they abused me or anything like that, but it's like sometimes I get punishment. Like I get shit taken away from me and I won't get it back to certain days. And sometimes there was certain situations where you had to get your ass whooped. And I had a lot of situations where I had to get my ass whooped. So it's like, man, I don't fucking this nigga. I always gotta do this. We gonna whoop my ass. I don't like that shit, man. But at the same time, like I was a little boy. I didn't know how the world really worked until like 8th grade and shit. And then that's when I started thinking and realizing like, oh, this shit makes sense now. That's the reason why he was doing this back then. Cause like all this shit molded me to what I'm becoming now. And when I molded into this shit, now I'm a man myself and I know how to do everything he do. Like I don't got no family like that, but like, if I had a family, I know how to do everything he do. I know how to pay my bills, take care of my house, like stand on top of business and get a job, all type of shit. So it's like at the time I didn't understand what he was doing. Like it's like it hurt me more than it hurt you. I didn't get it because it was always hurting me. He ain't the one getting his ass whooped. He ain't getting punched in that shit. But like I get it because that was like, even though he didn't want to do it, he had to do this so it can make me better. And I didn't understand it at the time. Now that I understand it and shit, like it's all forgiven because like I was holding grudges. But it's all forgiven because like I understand you molded me and I thank you for that.
Right. So looking back, do you feel like you had an advantage having a father like that?
I had a lot of advantages with having a dad like that because like growing up, he used to always tell me, and even some of my friends, they used to always tell me like, I wish I had parents like you. I'm like, why the fuck is you wishing you had my life? What the fuck wrong with your life? And I get that, and then they explain their life and shit, and I get it, but it's like, bro, that's like some envious shit, you know? So I was confused on what that shit meant all my life until last year when I finally understood. It's like I was confused. Mother was talking about, I wish I had a dad. I don't got no dad. I'm like, nigga, you ain't got no dad, but at the same time, you should still know how to be a man yourself. But then like, you just living with your OG or some shit. Or some motherfuckers who don't even have the OG. You don't know how to be a man unless you have like a man in your life teaching you how to be a man type shit. So I get that shit. So it's like, at first, like, I didn't get that I had an advantage. I thought I had a disadvantage because majority of people I knew didn't have no dad. And it was like, yo ass, and I'm just like confused. Like, even though you ain't got no dad, you can still do some shit. But it's like with a dad, you can understand better. So I say I had a great advantage with having a dad in my life. Bro.